Hello, this is Rogers Redding, National Coordinator of Football Officials. I'd like to welcome you to this last in the series of these media and fan videos that we have been producing for the 2018 season. We enjoy doing these, and we've gotten good feedback from people to indicate that they like it, that they are learning some things, and that it helps them look at the game in a slightly different way than they have before. So I'm glad about that, and I hope you enjoy the plays that you're about to see today. Here's an example of a foul that's called a chop block. This is a two-person foul where one player blocks an opponent low and the other one blocks him high, and it doesn't matter which order they're in. Many times you see this as a high-low block where the first player will go high and the second player will go low. But in this case, it's in the reverse order. The back, number 28, goes in low against the opponent, and then you can see that the lineman pushes him over top of that. That's the high block. So this is a low-high combination, correctly called as a chop block.
Personal foul, chop block, number 87 and 28 on the offense. 15-yard penalty, replay, first down.
On this play, we see an example of an illegal snap. Watch the center or the snapper on the offensive team. He moves the ball backward as if he's going to snap it, and then he stops and brings it back forward again. So that's sort of a double clutch. So this is a foul for an illegal snap. This is a dead ball foul. The ball is not allowed to be snapped once he does that, and the penalty is enforced at 5 yards.
Illegal snap, number 73 offense, 5-yard penalty, third down.
Here's a play where the passer gets outside the tackle box and then throws the ball away beyond the line of scrimmage, but he's flagged for intentional grounding. And the question arises, why is this ruled intentional grounding? He got outside the tackle box and he threw the ball beyond the line of scrimmage. Well, notice what happens. The passer originally gets the ball, hands it off to a teammate, and then the teammate turns and passes it back to the original quarterback, and he's the one that throws the ball. Sometimes this is called a flea flicker play. Well, the rule is that if the player who gets the snap from center relinquishes possession to another player, even though he gets it back, he gives up the right to be able to legally ground the ball when he runs outside the tackle box and throws it away. If he's going to do that, he has to maintain possession of the ball and not give it up to another player anytime during the down. In other words, this only applies to the player who originally gets the snap and maintains the ball throughout the down without giving it up to another player. So this is correctly ruled intentional grounding, even though it looks very much like those plays where the passer gets outside the tackle box and throws the ball away. But it has to be the player who gets the snap from center, and he can't give up the ball to another player anytime during the down. Here's an exciting kickoff play where there's a big scramble for the football, and it eventually goes into the end zone to be recovered by the kicking team for a touchdown. Now, there's several things to think about here. There's some question as to whether number 18 touches the ball when it first gets by him. However, at that point, it really doesn't matter, because once the ball has gone 10 yards, either team is allowed to recover it. If the kicking team, the team in red, had recovered the ball in the field of play, it would have been dead right there and it would have been their ball. If the ball had gone into the end zone untouched by the receiving team, even though the kicking team had touched it, then it would have been a touchback and would come out at the 25-yard line and belong to the receiving team. But now notice that as a part of the scramble, number 18 of the receiving team does touch the ball at about the 1-yard line. The players all continue to try to recover the ball. It goes into the end zone, and the kicking team legally recovers the ball for a touchdown. And again, the reason the ball is not dead when it touches the ground in the end zone is because it had already been touched in the field of play by the receiving team, specifically by number 18 at about the 1-yard line. So the result of all this, as ruled on the field, touchdown for the kicking team. Here we have a running play where the ball carrier goes out of bounds, and the question is, where should the ball be spotted? That is to say, what should be the point of his forward progress? Now, if the ball carrier just runs out of bounds without leaping or going airborne or diving or something like that, then the forward progress spot is wherever it is where he touches out of bounds. However, the rule says that if he goes airborne, which he does on this play, that is, if he jumps or dives or launches Other than just running out of bounds on a normal stride, then the forward progress spot is the place where the ball crosses the sideline. You can see why that would be, because you don't want to give forward progress to a player who goes into a long dive and doesn't hit the ground until long beyond where the ball crossed the sideline. So that's the reason for the rule. Now, there was some disagreement on this particular play, but in fact the official did get it right as upheld by instant replay. The ball carrier is considered to have his forward progress stopped wherever the ball crosses the sideline because he went airborne at the end of the play.
After review, moving on the field, or the runner being short of the line to gain stands will be 4th and 1. The clock will start on my signal.
I put this play on here because this is a textbook example of offensive pass interference. Notice that the receiver to the left-hand side, number 13, crosses the line of scrimmage to his inside and blocks down on a defender who's about to try to cover the pass. The other receiver, number 12, who's lined up to the inside of number 13, cuts off that block and catches the pass for the touchdown. This is a clear case of offensive pass interference correctly called by the officials. You can see that there's no question that number 13 throws a block here. Note that this play would have been perfectly legal if instead of throwing a block, number 13 had just screened the player coming to try to defend the play. In other words, if he would just sort of like a basketball screen, just stand there and prevent the defending player from getting to the football, from getting to the other receiver, this would have been perfectly legal for a touchdown. But since he goes down and makes that block, that's what makes this a foul for offensive pass interference. This play gives rise to an unusual situation involving enforcement of the penalty. First of all, notice the score. It's very late in the game, and Wyoming is ahead by 1 point. Also notice that both teams are out of timeouts, so that will come into play as an important feature of this as well. Wyoming scores a touchdown on the play, but they're guilty of a foul for holding. And normally you would expect that the defensive team, in this case Air Force, would want to accept the penalty to wipe out the touchdown. But it's in Air Force's strategic advantage to decline that penalty and allow the touchdown to be scored, because even with the extra point, that puts Wyoming up by 8 points, which is 1 score. And so that means that Air Force will get the ball back on the kickoff. If they accepted the penalty and had the down replayed, then all Wyoming would have to do would be to snap the ball about 1 more time and take a knee and end the game. Air Force can't stop the clock because they don't have a timeout left. So it's in their advantage to decline the penalty, allow the touchdown to be scored, so that forces Wyoming to kick off to give Air Force another opportunity to score. So it's a very unusual set of circumstances where when a touchdown is scored and there's a foul by the scoring team, the defensive team declines the penalty in order for the touchdown to be scored and force a kickoff to allow them to get the ball back.
The penalty for offensive holding has been declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
Here's a play that there's been a fair bit of chatter about. It's an unsportsmanlike conduct foul against a ball carrier before he crosses the goal line. And the penalty is enforced from the spot of the foul, correctly done so, and the touchdown does not count. You can see that the ball carrier taunts the defensive team before he goes into the end zone. Now you remember that for years and years and years, this was a live ball foul treated as a dead ball foul. And the touchdown would have counted, and then this meaningless 15-yard penalty would have been enforced either on the try or the kickoff. But of course, a number of years ago, the Rules Committee changed this to make this a live ball foul, just a garden variety of live ball foul like clipping or holding or anything else. So good job to get this. The only thing missing is that the referee should announce that this is the player's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game. But it's a gutsy call. It's good to get this. And I will say that the announcers also were very supportive of the call.
Prior to crossing the goal line, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 36 on the offense, taunting. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Well, that's it. I want to thank you for watching. It's hard to believe that the 2018 season is almost at an end. The bowl games are coming up. The divisional playoffs are in progress right now. And so there's still a lot of football left. So thank you for watching these, and best of luck to you and your teams as you go through the postseason.